This is a little something I wrote about circumcision. It's personal, and it also tells a little story about some other people, but it concerns the tragedy of circumcision. Stop the insanity of circumcision. This is courtesy of intaction.org. This prologue, actually. Baby Braden Tyler Frazier died last week after circumcision placed him in a fight for his life, a fight he was unable to win. Family members stated on Facebook the baby started bleeding uncontrollably after being circumcised. On Wednesday, doctors at the UC Davis Medical Center in Sacramento placed the baby in the NICU, the neonatal intensive care unit. Doctors attempted to use coagulants, platelets, and plasma to save his life. His body then started having uncontrollable seizures. Afterwards, his liver and kidneys starting to show signs of failure. Doctors advised the family that they were not optimistic about his survival. He was 9 days old when the circumcision happened. He succumbed to his wounds at 11 days of age. All efforts to save the baby's life were unsuccessful. He was in otherwise good health until he was circumcised. When doctors were unable to control the bleeding, he was then diagnosed with hemophilia. As I said, that's courtesy of intaction.org. This tragedy hits you right in the gut, especially us in the movement, who know this needless death was caused by an unethical and unnecessary surgery. Calamities like this make even the average person question routine circumcision of newborn baby boys, especially when even a small amount of blood loss could be life-threatening. It's ironic how we try so hard to care for our babies with special birthing rooms and even underwater births to de-stress the birth process, promote the health effects of breastfeeding and the mother-child bond. Don't forget the vitamins. And then you cut off a piece of his genitals? What? I don't recall the exact moment, but learning about circumcision explained the mysterious scarring on my penis. Some doctor had cut away my foreskin and permanently disfigured me without my permission. Why? How could this happen? This is the United States of America, where I was born with inalienable rights, and then this? You circumcised me without my consent, and for what reason? Better be good, and I'm not even Jewish. These are my thoughts, feelings, and experiences regarding sex, desire, private parts, and circumcision. I won't go into all the arguments against circumcision because many of you are already well informed or can easily find that information. What was done to me and what we're still doing to baby boys is wrong and, in my opinion, child abuse. This has been my life, my penis, my experience, but not my choice. Who the hell ripped off part of my genitals against my will? It's unethical. Do I live in a primitive society? How dare you? This is personal. As a kid, I remember seeing a dog's penis. I knew that much, but it seemed slick and seemed to slide in and out of some kind of skin. After I found out about circumcision, I figured out that my penis was supposed to work like that dog's, and that a doctor had cut my penis and left a scar that no one told me about. It's obvious to any circumcised boy that the area under the penis isn't smooth and unblemished, but scarred and mottled to varying degrees. Most of these penises lean one way or the other because of the scarring. Nobody tells boys about their private parts, even today. I guess because doctors and parents are ignorant themselves. The foreskin is a sensitive and functioning part of a boy's penis, as normal as the different parts of a vagina. Actually, the head of the penis is an internal organ in a normal penis, covered and lubricated by the foreskin, like that dog's. But there are some doctors and parents who would like to stay ignorant because of other forces at work. There's a huge push by the UN and its supporters, which includes the Gates Foundation and the Clinton Foundation, to circumcise millions of African men in the belief that it would stop the spread of AIDS. What? Based on flawed data, the premise is obviously flawed. The The U.S. has a high rate of circumcision, yet it also has a high rate of AIDS. Are they also saying that condoms would then not be needed? Which would be irresponsible. But then if you wear a condom, why get circumcised? Foreskins are used in cosmetics and are a valuable commodity. Why is this commodity taken without compensation? Perhaps this is one multi-million-dollar reason for the push to circumcise. I'm sure it is. Looks like there's a vested interest in this ignorance of circumcision. Then, of course, people circumcise for religious reasons, which I dismiss outright on the grounds that child abuse is never justified. See my video, We Disrupt a Clinton Event to Stop African Circumcision. That's on my YouTube channel, Jerry the Other. No spaces. I continue. I remember reading about a study that found that circumcised boys had a greater sensitivity to pain than intact boys, done by comparing reactions to subsequent vaccinations. While local anesthetics are usually used in circumcision, much of the pain is still felt by the boy. Does this early trauma affect these boys, and in what way? Studies need to be done on the emotional and physical effects circumcision has on a newborn baby, and also later in life. I had a few episodes of what you would call night terrors as a kid. Strange feelings I couldn't explain but were terrifying. And I've heard other men who think their nightmares were caused by the trauma of circumcision. Would it be crazy to think that maybe that early trauma I experienced revisited me in my dreams later on? This study said that the pain and trauma of circumcision interfered with the development of the still-forming nervous system. It seems to me that kind of trauma would affect any child. The tragedy is that this surgery is totally unnecessary, not needed to correct any disability or cure any disease. Yet we disfigure our baby boys and sometimes kill them in the name of cleanliness. Other reasons for circumcision abound. It's how we've always done it. It's cleaner. He won't look like his dad. The myth of comparing penises. I don't recall comparing penises with anyone, especially my father. And now what women prefer. First, all parents should know that soap and water will keep the foreskin clean, so there's no need to cut it off. And also, the foreskin will retract by itself at some time in his childhood and should be done only by him. Doctors, now that you know a little bit about the foreskin, remember your principle to do no harm. And actually do no harm. What women want is relative. Many women prefer uncircumcised, normal men in bed. And I don't think we should mutilate ourselves because of what some women think. As far as what I think having a foreskin could be good for, how about keeping the penis lubricated and therefore less prone to premature ejaculation, easier and more pleasurable intercourse, and the bonus of sensitive nerve endings for extra pleasure? What's not to like? There have been successful lawsuits against hospitals and doctors regarding informed consent. This is perhaps the most egregious thing about circumcision, lack of consent. If for some reason a man or boy wants a circumcision, I guess that's fine. But to circumcise a baby without consent is unethical and plainly child abuse and a violation of the human right to genital integrity. Because civilized society only does this to baby boys, this automatically becomes a men's human rights issue, another example of society's inhumanity towards males. Most of the world's men are normal, uncircumcised, and this barbaric practice of routine circumcision is slowly coming to an end. We will all be normal someday. I say we should accept each other as we are and keep every single erogenous nerve ending we were born with. Thanks. Take care.